there is guaranteed, full stop, a national quarantine coming for the United States. In fact, it's coming for every place where this thing is spreading like this. And that's pretty much guaranteed. Remember, one of the reasons we're concerned is even if you are recovered, maybe you're recovered with air quotes around that word or quotes around that word, because actually you may have a semi-permanent or maybe even permanent lung function impairment, and that would be a very bad thing. So remember, we talked about all these ways to avoid becoming infected in the first place. I'm going to put a new thing at the top here, which is undertake extreme social distancing measures immediately. You don't want to be one of those 1 in 8 people who's moving about. If you can begin to self-isolate, self-quarantine, not go anywhere, not have contact with people, just do that. Just do that right now. If you have to go out, you're going to be wearing, of course, mask. And if you're going to be in close contact, you need the eye protection as well. So if you can stay 6 feet away from people, cool. That's the way to do this. All right. So, okay, given all that, now what? I know quarantine's coming. All right, what do we do? All right, first thing, you got to self-isolate now. Just don't let that guy in, okay? Just don't do that. The second thing is you want to make sure your house is a clean zone, a green zone. So that means that you're not letting people into your home. And this is going to be tough. I totally get it, and I'll cover some of that a little bit more in just a second. But you want to make sure that your home is a place where you are safe, and that's at least for peace of mind, as well as that just makes a lot of sense. This is a well-managed gathering. That's what gatherings are going to look like for probably the next few months here. If you have to gather, make sure it looks like that. That's how it's done. And you want to stay at least 6 feet away from everybody when out and about. So this panic shopping that's going on right now, let me see. Where's Waldo? Mask? Nope. Zero masks. These people are actually in order to prepare for something in a panic, because they weren't listening here 50 days ago. They're now stuck in this very untenable situation. But if you are going to get stuck in that situation, my goodness, you should be wearing a mask of some sort. And look at this case. This woman is wearing a mask. This woman's busy wiping her nose right here. I don't know what happens next after that. Maybe she picks up something off the aisle. I don't know. And you really just need to be staying like this. This is okay. That's better spacing right there. But the rest of this just looks like a thing I'd much, much rather avoid. All right. So what does extreme social isolation and distancing look like? It means there's no more school. When we get in this national quarantine, this will all be enforced, but you shouldn't have to wait. There's no more going to restaurants. There's no more going to bars. No more concerts. No more sporting events. Mass transit. Nope. Airplane trips. Nope. Cruises. I mean, do I really have to talk about cruises? Anybody? I just heard about somebody who got on a cruise ship yesterday. I'm shocked. Especially no playing bridge. I'm talking to you, Mom, now. Poker, other games where items are passed around like cards, chips, other things where you're physically handing things around. Lots of studies show that this is one of the best ways to infect and be infected, is to hand things back and forth to people. And no more having friends over, and no more stopping by a friend's house. These are all really disruptive, draconian things, but this is what has to happen right away. So you're at home. And you're not seeing a lot of friends anymore. Of course, we've got Skype and FaceTime and other things now, which really make that a lot less of a challenge than it was even, I think, 10 years ago. But so what do? Plant a garden. This was the garden I had at my old house. I'm going to have one that looks a lot like that. This spring, I'm putting it in my new place. This is on a 50 by 70 plot, so that's a tiny fraction of an acre. You can get a lot done. I had grapevines there. Yes, plant a garden. This is something I would absolutely do with your kids. If you've got kids at home, plant that garden. You want to see how much food you can produce in the shortest amount of time possible. We'll be talking about this in a lot greater detail because I see I'm already running long on this one. But we're going to cover this in a lot more detail because I think now we're past the whole idea that, the Paul Revere Act is over. I don't really have to go out and warn people all that much, although surprisingly, you still have to warn some people. They don't get it. It's still the flu. It's just the flu. No, it's not. That's still happening. But at any rate, the question now becomes, what are you going to do with your time? And how are you going to use it? And how are you going to use it wisely? And instead of just defaulting into, video games and Netflix and all that other stuff, it's time to let's use it wisely. This could be a real gift, I think, as well for a lot of people. We could learn a new language. We could hone a skill and do lots of projects. We could clean and organize our homes and get into that much lower level of clutter. And Those are all things that are really important to do as well. So these are endorsed personal actions. We still stick by our endorsed national actions here. We think every one of these still makes sense. We could add more to that if we wanted to. Remember, this isn't the flu. It really isn't. It's not SARS. Shame on anybody who's still trying to claim it's, the flu is more deadly and all that stuff. The way this goes is case, cluster, cluster, boom. And we are almost at that boom stage. So my conclusions for today: when or if you do get the novel coronavirus, you want as small a starting viral load as possible. That gives you the best chance of not becoming one of those serious cases, because you give your body time, the time it needs to begin to mount an effective defense. The boom, that's going to come at a surprising speed. That boom stage always comes at a surprising speed. That's just how it is. Welcome to exponential growth. As of now, we are expecting a continued 10x growth in cases every 14 days. So that takes us from 100,000 to 1 million to 10 million to 100 million. That's what we mean by that. And that's just covering the next 6 weeks in this particular story. Okay. As well, things that are exponential that just surprises us. Like if you're on ice and you're walking carefully and it's maybe that super slippery ice with just a little layer of snow on top, and it's just like extra slippery, that's coming. But if you slip on it, it's still going to be a surprisingly painful fall when it comes. Why? Because gravity operates exponentially, right? It's it's a squared function. You are accelerating towards the ground. So you're moving towards the ground exponentially faster. It's just very hard for our human brains to understand exponential growth and exponential functions, even though we're pulled to the earth by an exponential function every single day. So you'd think we'd wire it up, but nope. Hey, even the under 50 crowd are getting slammed by this virus. We hope it doesn't represent a mutation of any sort that's come along to make it more virulent for younger people. But this whole idea that it just hits old people is not true. So let's make sure we combat that misinformation as well. Hey, lockdowns work. They really do. So expect one to come much sooner than you might think. Remember, things happen a lot faster than you might think with exponential functions. I'll be surprised if the United States doesn't go into a national quarantine or lockdown sometime this next week, maybe as early as Monday, this being recorded on Sunday, of course. Each of us, though, has a vital role in this. This isn't about what the authorities are doing. We all are responsible for flattening the curve. That begins with you. You're going to have to take your you're going to have to figure out how to do your own social isolation and distancing. You're going to have to learn how to be one of the first people to wear a mask, to not do handshakes, to break the social customs that are in place that are actually the ones that are getting us all infected. So that's up to each of us to do, but you, because you happen to be an early and fast adjuster. So that's up to all of us, but especially the people listening to this. It didn't have to be this way. It really didn't. We had all this information 50 days ago and more. So here we are. We're going to make the best of it. And let's all pull together and do the best we can, because this is actually going to call us all to greatness. It's an extraordinary opportunity. Life has changed. Yesterday is gone. There's a whole new tomorrow coming. And it's up to us to decide who we're going to be, how we're going to be, and what we're going to do with our time.